Dear students, we are all consumers of different products or services in our day-to-day life, and our purchasing decisions are influenced by many factors. One among them is culture. Today, we are all going to learn about culture and its influence on consumer behavior. So, what exactly is culture? How would one define culture? Given the broad and pervasive nature of culture, understanding culture would require considering many factors. Since we are looking at culture only from a consumer behavior perspective, we can define culture as a sum total of learned beliefs, values and customs that serve to direct the consumer's behavior of members of a particular society. There are three components that would contribute to the making of a culture: beliefs, values and customs. Beliefs and values are mental images, verbal statements, accumulated feelings that reflect a person's knowledge and assessment of something. There are guidelines that define what culturally accepted behavior is. Values and beliefs are formed over a long time with past experiences and knowledge. They don't change in a day, but last longer in the minds of the consumers. The next component is custom. Customs are more like routine, everyday behavior of consumers. A woman drawing the column in front of their house is a custom. Adding diet sweetener to your coffee is a custom. In that way, beliefs and values come across as guidelines for behavior, and customs are usual and acceptable ways of behaving. These three put together make culture, a set of guidelines and accepted behavior. Have you heard of the invisible hand of culture? Culture is often ignored and not understood because of the invisible nature it carries. Culture is so blended into lifestyle of people that is not seen alone. The impact it has is so natural and automatic that it is taken for granted. But understanding culture is what helps you to understand consumers. For example, soya-based food drinks are not so popular in India because it does not fit into the eating rituals of India. When Maggi was first introduced, it was a hit with the housewives who as mothers followed the ritual of making evening snacks for children. These rituals are part of the culture consumers followed. Now let's discuss about the three levels of subjective culture. The three levels on which culture is perceived: supranational, national and group. Supranationals are cultural differences that cross national boundaries or can be seen present in more than one country. National level is where the culture is shared, has national characteristics or identity that is confined to the citizens of that country only. Whereas on the group level, the cultural divisions or grouping contains a collection of individuals. Example, culture of a family, work groups, friendship groups, etc. Let's understand the influence of culture in marketing, because it can either make or break a business. For instance, when Kellogg first came to India, it failed miserably because it's not an Indian custom to drink cold milk along with cornflakes as breakfast. Whereas this worked in the Western countries since they have a practice of doing this. Similarly, when Coca-Cola was introduced, it failed because Indians back then didn't encourage the use of carbonated drinks. One good example of a company understanding culture would be the famous restaurant chain McD's. This company offers beef and pork in their outlets abroad, but in India, not a single outlet features these meats on their menu because they knew the culture in Indian households discouraged them from consuming beef and pork. Also, they introduced new varieties of burgers with paneer, since paneer is a part of the Indian meal. This way, cultural influences choice of product and development of the company. People purchase to satisfy needs and culture exists to satisfy needs. And they do this by offering order, direction and guidance to the consumer's decisions. Example, culture provides you rules as to what to purchase and what for, what need and which occasion. For a wedding, you would dress grand and wear highly fashionable clothes because it's the culture at a wedding. Similarly, the culture of an organization will decide what you wear for a formal meeting, lunch, etc. Now we are going to discuss a few examples of how brands use this culture to reach out to their ideal customers. The Junior Horlicks projects itself as an A to Z nutrition drink. Its TV commercials show children reluctant to have their regular food, which is a cultural practice, and it's something that the mother can associate to. Mira shampoo brand launched an interesting commercial that showed a dialogue between a mother and child. The child is talking about how weak she is in math and she is fidgeting with her hair. The mother replies that the child's hair is too weak after noticing the fallen hair. The ad ends with the child using Mira shampoo and she becoming strong in the subject. The company has used the often occurring situation of kids being weak in mathematics and putting across their products through this. The water purifier AquaPure in its commercial shows a housewife asking the question, "You boil milk? Do you also boil your water?" Reminding the consumers about the practice of boiling water to eradicate germs before mentioning the brand. Cultural associations connect with consumers and brands need to use this to get into their consumers. Acculturation is the process of learning a new or foreign culture and adopting them. Some of the youth blindly adopting Western culture is an example of acculturation, whereas in general Europeans are more stringent and stick to learn their own culture, that is enculturation. Just like culture, language also plays an important role in consumer behavior. Language is what connects and binds culture. Through language, one can reach out to a community who follow the same culture. It's for this reason that often brands make advertisements in different languages to communicate to different groups of people. Similarly, symbols are effective means to get across message easily in a subtle manner. Brands use symbols, colors, figures, shapes, logos, etc. to get across their products to the desired consumers. A few examples of different symbols used by companies are given here. So far, we learned how culture affects marketing. Now we are going to look at how marketing can create and influence culture. The idea of gifting during Christmas was a marketing campaign that clicked off. Even the idea of proposing with a diamond came into existence after a diamond making company advertised its product like that. Companies now use culture of celebrating Mother's Day, Friendship Day, etc. as marketing campaigns. Culture, consumer behavior and marketing should go hand in hand and they should influence each other. With cutthroat competition and consumer being the emperor, marketers should be able to understand culture and tap into it. This will help the company influence their consumers' purchasing decisions, thereby contributing to the company's profits. Thank you for your patient listening. Hope to see you again with different topics of consumer behavior. Till then, goodbye.